Hello, everyone, and welcome to another fun little episode of From Paper to People's teaching, specifically Family Search today. So, I'm going to show you something from Family Search that you may not know a whole lot about, but it is very important whether you're a member of the church or not. If you're using Family Search, you need to make sure that some of the things, the most basic things, are set up so that you can have maximum success in collaborating with others and in being identifiable to others. So the first thing I want to do, and I have to move things slightly because there's this little bar where I can stop recording and stuff like that, and it's right over right over the sign-in information, so I have to roll it up a little bit. If you don't have a FamilySearch.org account yet, you need one because using Family Search and using it in tandem with Ancestry is really important because although Family Search is a mess in a lot of ways, if you're a member of a church, part of your responsibility in doing family work at all, family history work of any kind, is to help clean up the errors that others left behind in Family Search or even errors that they're making today. And if you're not a member, there's a lot of good stuff here. I know that this site gets a bad rap, and there are reasons why that I would say are justifiable, but there are so many cases in which there is some really, really great stuff here. There are records here that do not exist in Ancestry. If you are working with the Reparational Genealogy Project, as I hope you are going to do, then you can help to transfer data over from Ancestry to Family Search and vice versa if you're a member of a church. And that's a very, very helpful thing to be able to do. So what we're going to do is just look at the most basic things that are important in your account. So if you don't have an account, click on create account. And what it asks you for is your first name, your last name, and stuff, as you can see. Now, if you are a member of the church, then when you continue, it's going to ask you for your member number. And for those of you who are not members of the church, we are a very record-keeping people, obviously, or Family Search would not exist. And we have membership record numbers that pertain to us individually, just as every individual person on Family Search has their own FSID or Family Search ID. And that follows us around everywhere we go. It helps us to get in touch with people locally, and I don't know, it helps with a lot of things that I'm not going to go into, but it's a good thing. So it's important to indicate whether or not you're a member, and then hit continue once you filled this out, and it'll take you through the process of adding in your parents and your grandparents. And when you do, if you have family who are already listed in Family Search may suggest, is this the person that you mean? And give you an existing profile to look at. And that's how you can key into work that's already stored here in Family Search. And that's really cool. But for those of us who are already members, I'm going to go back to sign in. Now, when I sign in, it's waiting for me, but I will warn you that this keep me signed in for 2 weeks totally does not work, no matter where you are, whether you're on your own computer or you're on a public computer, which is actually a very bad place to click that because other people could get into your account. Don't bother. Just don't even bother because it doesn't even work. There you go. You can also sign in, by the way, as a church member, this here sign in with church account, and use your lds.org username and password. And that's how you can establish a new account or how you can sign in if you forget a discrete sign-in username and password that you created for Family Search. Ideally, church members, please only have one. Make sure that it gets distilled down to one as you work with your Temple and Family History consultant, because it is way too confusing for the Temple and Family History consultant to be constantly looking up information for you. It wastes a lot of time when you're working together on lessons. And for everybody, I would suggest store this in your phone. your username and your password, just as I think that people should do with Ancestry. Keep it where you can access it, where it's not totally obvious or anything, but where you can access it so that nobody else has to look for it or you don't have to keep changing your password. Okay, so sign in. And this is sort of the main desk. There's all kinds of stuff here that we don't really have to worry about. I mean, basically, this is all of the records that need to be attached to all of my ancestors and people whom I've put in the tree. This is all of the temple work that needs done for my ancestors and people I've put in the tree. This down here is a list of all the people I've looked at recently, so if I decide I want to go back to somebody, I can, and I can go and do it here. And this is a combination of the two. We'll make recommended tasks go away. We'll make recent people go away. You can create yourself a to-do list, which is really nice. And it's something as simple as scan in mom's birth certificate. Whoops, birth. Now I have an item to check off. So when I come back in next, there's a reminder of something. You can do that. That's cool. But that's still not why we're here. Why we're here is to go to username and click on it and go to settings. Now these settings are overlooked. Nobody ever seems to talk about these, but here they are. And they're very important. So you notice it says for Carolyn McLaughlin, that's my born name, one N, and surname McLaughlin. And that's my display name because that's the name that I was born with. Genealogically, that would be my name. I changed it in court to what it is now, my full name, Carolyn with two N's, Nealochlin. And I've chosen to make that public. I think that you should do the same. You want to be as correctly identifiable as possible, both genealogically and in terms of who you are now, so that when you have the opportunity to communicate with other people through the FamilySearch system, you can do it. Now here's my birth date. That was pulled, as was my gender, from when I was first setting up my account, when I first joined the church. And so it's there, but I can elect whether or not I want to make my birth date public. I say, yeah, why not? Let's do that. And then here's my membership record number. This is the I am a Mormon track me number. It's my tracking number. And my helper number is the last 5 digits of my membership record number. That's automatically true for all members of the church. Otherwise, you can add one in. You can create one using 5 letters or numbers, something that's memorable to you. And what is this? Well, let's show you. A helper number is an identification number that allows someone to use FamilySearch.org on behalf of someone else. Basically what that means is that if you call into FamilySearch at 4 in the morning, freaking out about something, which I've been known to do, a couple of times in my life, you give them that helper number and they're able to look at all of your information. They're able to look at the problems that you define for them, and they're able to help you out. And that's really important because on the other end of the telephone, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, somewhere in the world, the church has provided missionaries who will answer the phone and answer your questions. And that's pretty cool. And if you think about Ancestry, it's very cool because we all know how hard it is to get hold of Ancestry. We have to abuse them on Twitter in order to get them to pay attention. Well, I've made a change, obviously, here in green. I'm saving that change. And I'm scrolling back up to go to the next place. So we're going to all of these, okay? And we're going to make sure we understand and have filled out correctly all of those things. Okay, that's saved. Now, contact. Now, I've created myself a contact name that is, it has to be all one word, and it is my name. It is as close to my real name as I possibly can be, and it is, as you can see, always public. so that whenever you make a change to a person on FamilySearch, that contact name will show up um, as the person to contact by message within the FamilySearch messaging system. And don't do the fluffy kitty 123 thing. That drives me completely bananas. This is a professional setting. This is a family setting. We want to be able to understand who people are and what their names are, and that's important. And then I make my email public. That's partly because I am Carolyn Temple and Family History Consultant, TFHC, and I want people to be able to find that. But also, I just want people to be able to contact me about whatever it is if they don't want to use the FamilySearch messaging system, if they're afraid it's not working or whatever. I want them to be able to contact me directly so that they can ask me a question or tell me I'm wrong or whatever it is. Now, I have a landline and usually I do have it in here, but I've taken it out so that you guys can't call me at all hours of the night because, hey, I don't want to hear it. I have a life. The mobile number, this verify, will never work. So just don't even try. Ideally, you can verify your mobile number by clicking on this, and then your mobile phone gets a text message and it has information in it, numbers and letters and stuff like that, and you plug it into the resulting window there. And so then you will verify. But the fact is, nothing comes to fill that out. So you can't hit verify. So your only hope is to hit cancel and to ignore that altogether. Street address. Put in your street address. Yes, I'm going to put mine in and I'm going to make it public. I think it's important to do that because people need to be able to contact me by mail, perhaps. Maybe they want to send me an original photograph or a copy of a photograph. Maybe they want to send me a document. Maybe they just want to send me a Christmas card. I'd really like to be accessible that way. I'd like everybody else to be accessible in that same way as well. The country, United States, is from the data that I entered for my birthday and location and stuff, either that or it comes directly from my membership record, probably the latter. I've decided to make that public. And then this is really, really super cool. You agree to allow others to see their relationship to you, your display name, your portrait and family tree, if available, and any shared ancestors. Well, first off, yes, you should put your portrait in the family tree, and we'll have another video sometime when I show you how to do that. But this enables you to see your relationship to anybody else who also has this enabled, who has done work on a common ancestor. So you can look and see exactly what descent you share because it'll show you a tree if you click on that enabling, I can't remember what the text is, but it allows you to see your relationship to the people who are collaborating with you within FamilySearch, and that's important. So I want that to be public, so there it is. We have nothing new, so I'm not going to be saving here. We're just going over the next one. Notifications. Okay, now the default is that everything's on. Some things, if you're not a temple and family history consultant or not a member of the church, or just not that into FamilySearch, you might not want, but you should go through them and check. This is notification when contacted through FamilySearch messages. Yes, I absolutely want somehow to find out that somebody has sent me a message in FamilySearch asking me a question or offering an alternative fact. Consultant help. Absolutely, you need this. Permit consultants to help me. Consultants receive notifications. I'm a consultant, so I'll be receiving notifications. If somebody asks through the FamilySearch system within my area for help from a temple and family history consultant. So that's absolutely a yes for everybody. Share family names. This is just for members of the church. If you want other people in the family who have a list of people ready to go to the temple to be able to send you some of their names, then, or if you want to be able to receive them from people, then this you need to have checked. Now, having the watch list on is really cool because what you get is on an individual person, if you're concerned that somebody's maybe messing around and making mistakes on one of your ancestors' records, you can click on a star that says watch. It's up on the top of the profile. We'll look at that another time. But this sends me a weekly list of changes to people I'm watching. So if anybody does anything, I'll be able to check that through the weekly emailing that I get. Site updates is really good. I get notifications of feature and software changes, and that's very good because it's constantly being upgraded, updated, and the site is making better and better, and that's pretty cool. My Ancestors is interesting. It can sometimes be a little bit of overkill, but they do these little campaigns and search results about ancestors like, oh, we've just found one of your ancestors in British records, or oh, one of your ancestors was involved in the Pioneer Trek, the Mormon Pioneer Trek to Utah. That's not really a big deal to me because I'm a convert and I have no direct ancestors who were involved. But people get into that, and that's cool. So definitely, it's worth it to have some of these things come up. It can show you all different kinds of relationships that you might have according to what campaign they're running. Here we have getting started. Tips for those who may be new to family search, family history, or both? Absolutely. You're never too old in the work to be getting new information about starter types of issues. Inspirational messages, those are nice. I don't know, I don't necessarily need those, but I don't not need them either, so I keep that checked. Roots Tech News, updates about the annual Family History Conference hosted by FamilySearch. It's now semi-annual, I guess it is, because there's one in the United States, and now this upcoming week, I guess, maybe within the next few days, begins the one in London. So that's kind of groovy. Then there are FamilySearch newsletters, tips and resources to help you make family history discoveries. Okay, why not? And if you don't like it, you know what? Come back, uncheck it. No big deal. And the final thing is the indexing newsletter. It's the latest news and inspiration about the effort to make records searchable. Indexing is something that you can do. Anybody can do it. It's done from here on your computer, and it allows you to look at records that have been scanned and to type the information into a form so that that can then be reviewed by a couple of people and then ultimately made available as a searchable document. That's where all of our searchable documents come from. Now this one, actually two, these are really important. Facebook Messenger, if you're on Facebook and you have Messenger, make sure that this is checked. And the reason that it's important is that when someone tries to contact you through FamilySearch, you can get that through Messenger. It's also important because there's something on the Messenger side of things that you can sign up for that gives you messages on the birthday, the wedding anniversary of each of your direct line ancestors going back for the number of generations that you set. I think it's a default of 4, it may be 5, but it's really fun. So, in the morning, all of a sudden, ping, you get a message and it's like, it's your great great grandfather's birthday. He would have been 132, and it's really hip. So that's a good thing. And then finally, text message. Collaboration, again, notify when contacted through FamilySearch messages, you get a text that says, hey, check out your FamilySearch because somebody's trying to contact you. So that's also good. Now, preferences. Because I'm a member of the church, I want to see temple information about every single one of my ancestors. If you're not a member of the church, just don't turn that on. It's no big deal. I am the starting person in my tree. This is my FSID, or Family Search Identification Number. It's an alphanumeric. Everybody has one. And I could elect to make somebody else the starter person in my tree, like my mom or my dad or something like that. But it's me doing the work, so it's mine. And then finally, it's pulled my email address and says, this is your preferred email, and it lets you elect what language you speak. Of course, I speak English. That's how that one works. Finally, connected accounts. There are a lot of different kinds of accounts that you can connect, but I'm connected to Find My Past, Ancestry, and My Heritage, all because those are free memberships through the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Then there are other things. There are games and things like that, and Relative Finder, the Grandma's Pie, the Virtual Pedigree. Those are available through BYU's computer software and I guess computer science department. Relative Finder, I don't know. It doesn't really matter what they are. Basically, I've already tried to revoke access to them and I can't. So I guess I won't worry about that. I mean, I don't need the grandma's pie, so I'm going to go ahead and revoke it. We'll see how this goes. Um, and that was game. The rest of them are, they help you to find things, so it's good and worth having. Same thing with American Ancestors. That's also a free membership that we get through the church. And Roots Tech, I've got access to, I think, because I'm a Temple and Family History consultant, and so that's there, but it doesn't, it's just they can access my user information so that I can use them and draw information through their interfaces, you know. So that's pretty much that. And that's pretty much it. I'm not even going to bother to get into this because I don't know how I give people permission to help me on FamilySearch, and I wouldn't. So that's just me, whatever. To go home at any time, simply hit FamilySearch in the upper left, and you're back home to your home page. So that's what you should do. Fill out all of that information. It's one of the most incredibly simple things that anyone can do, but when using an application of any kind, when using a program of any kind, simply identifying yourself, it's the most important thing that you can do. It gives everything a foundation. So that's pretty much it. I'm logging out. And I'm done with this video. I hope that it was helpful to you, and I hope that you turn around and do this so that you can be found more easily and be a better member of the overall FamilySearch community. Okay? Thanks a lot. See you next time.